All right, shout out to AJ for asking this question. Very common question. How do you do absolute value equations? First thing we're going to do is just take a quick review of what absolute value does. So the absolute value of negative 2, positive 2. Absolute value positive 2, also positive 2. So you're just going to take whatever number's in here, and if it's a negative, remove the negative. If it's positive, leave it positive. That's really all there is to absolute value on something like this. One thing I want to discourage you from doing on a problem like this, do not turn this into a positive 5. You want to solve this portion first, so 3 minus 5 will give you negative 2. Then you would take the absolute value of negative 2, which is positive 2. Okay, now we're going to convert this topic over to absolute value equations. And we've got an example right here. Okay, so to solve absolute value equations, there's really 2 steps that you have to remember. Everything else is going to come naturally for you. Step 1, pretty simple step. Just get the absolute value alone. Okay, so this absolute value right here, this x minus 9 inside the absolute value. I want to get that all by itself. So one way we can do that is I'm going to pretend that this x minus 9, the absolute value of x minus 9 is a letter. So we'll just say, we'll just call this a W for right now. So just so I don't forget here. And I'm going to temporarily put a W in right here because, well, this is something you guys are familiar working with. Most of you guys could do 3 bubble equations pretty effectively at this point. We want to get 1 bubble on each side, right? So we want to get rid of one of these 2, and the one to get rid of is the one that matches up with that T-chart. So we're going to get rid of this. We do that by subtracting 4. But remember, we got to keep those balanced out, so we're going to subtract 4 on that side as well. So we're going to have 2W, that's gone, and then that's going to be a positive 4. Any questions on that? Okay, now we're going to divide both sides by 2, and we're going to get W equals to 4 divided by 2 is going to give you a 2. Any questions with that? Okay, so now keep in mind though that the W is really this right here, right? This is really our W. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this. I'll try to keep as much of this work up as possible so those who want to follow along here. But W equals 2. So since W is really equal to this, I'm going to rewrite this as the absolute value of x minus 9 equals 2. Good on that. Okay, so step 1 is complete. Step 2 is another pretty simple step here. And you're just going to make 2 equations. And your equations basically look like this. So you're going to erase the absolute value. And you're going to take this exact equation. And instead of making a positive 2 on the right side, you make it a negative 2. And then you solve it just like you know how to do from this point. Add 9 to both sides. So that one you're going to get 11, add 9 to both sides. This one you're going to get a 7. Your 2 answers are going to be 11 and 7. And one thing I want to just discourage you from attempting to do here is when we go back to this original problem, I see a lot of people attempting to do the distributive property here. You cannot do the distributive property with absolute values like you can with parentheses. So that's just something else to keep in the back of your mind. That's absolute value equations.